Alright guys, so here is my scrap mechanic vehicle. I have named Test Pattern Delta. Test Pattern Alpha through Charlie did not fare so well. This is actually a two-man aircraft, one pilot and one gunner. I'll do a quick little walkthrough of it. I will be loading it up onto the Steam Workshop. It is not perfect for flying just yet. It has some bugs. Oops. Let's see. So you can see I've got 3 buttons hooked up currently in the main cockpit, and 1 button to open the access to the aircraft. What I have not assigned that 4th button in the front for yet is some additional steering capabilities that I haven't been able to set up yet. I was originally going to use these rockets on the end here to help control some of the steering, but unfortunately the aircraft is so heavy I have to keep those on full time currently. So I'm going to have to do some updating to the aircraft as time goes on here. But I'll go ahead and show you the basic functionality. Oops. Okay. So to access the aircraft, there is a button on the rear here. Oops. You can see it. Probably gonna have to zoom in. There's a couple different entry points. I have 2 entry points on the roof to each location. Those are actually really for getting out of the aircraft, but to get in you can go in through these side windows that are set up on bearings. The front seat's for the pilot, the rear seat's for the gunner. So before we get into the pilot seat, I'll show you the functionality of the gunner. So the gunner basically controls this gun below the aircraft. It has the ability to go up and down, and it also has the ability to turn. I set up the little sensor on the front just to look like some sort of a camera or something, so it's just for cosmetic purposes. Obviously the gun doesn't fire or do anything, but I just thought it was cool to have the ability to have a passenger in here that also had something that they could control within the vehicle. But getting out, of course, right now you get out through the top because your character gets stuck trying to get out through the side. Pilot has access to close the canopy through a control button. This is going to be sort of a difficult test flight here. I've got trees all in front of me. So as far as controlling the aircraft right now, there's a couple main controls. I have the main boosters, which are really designed after the to use after the aircraft is in flight, as my button 1, and it uses the typical forward and backward controls to control which angle these thrusters are pointing in. Button 1 is also powering this rear booster I'm looking down through the back. So that's the propulsion to go forward, really, is these 6 boosters that are on the wing here that rotate, and the 1 booster in the back. The other boosters under the wing are really just to lift the aircraft off the ground, so they're used during takeoff, and actually they stay on flight. They're what really keep the aircraft in the air as we're going. The main thrusters obviously don't have enough power just to keep everything. This thing weighs too much. As far as a rudder type of system, so I can change my heading, I do have some controls set up on the tail here, so I have access to control these thrusters to change my headings. It's not a perfect flight system, but it works pretty well. I also have retractable landing gear, so I decided to not go with wheels on this aircraft, so that's why I have these little legs. The legs will tuck up under. Actually, I can retract the gear right now and then bring it back out. So that's kind of what it looks like when it's in flight. And then I can bring the gear back up. Oh, it'll go. This thing is pretty heavy. It's made out of all metal block. Alright, obviously I was going for a military type theme. Put the gun on it. I also put some external fuel tanks on it. Also considering putting some bombs or some missile-looking things on it. But for now, I think it looks pretty good. I'll go ahead and do a test flight. The first thing about setting up your test flight is making sure these main thrusters are in a good position. So if you kick them on, it's not going to throw your aircraft all out of whack. A lot of times I quickly tip the nose down so I can get the aircraft moving forward. But I'll go ahead and take off. I'm going to try and get over these trees without any incidents, and maybe I'll be able to land on the other side. But again, it's not the best flyer just yet, but it looks pretty cool. Alright, here we go. Sometimes if you're taking off on uneven ground, you quickly have to apply some of the thrusters from the main engines so it doesn't tip over to the front or the back. Right now it's doing okay. I might actually have to push it back a little bit because I got to get over this tree. I'm a little worried I'm not going to be able to get in there. So I can angle these thrusters and just do a little tap. Now it's going up. So we're looking good right now. The aircraft gets high enough, I'll retract the gear. So I'm going to go ahead and retract the landing gear. And this is pretty much how it looks when it's flying. So now once it's up, I'll go ahead and give it a little bit of thrust. Oops. Wrong way. Here we go. Oh, and we're crashing. Yep, that's what happens. Yeah, and that's what happens. I'm not the best pilot for it yet, but that's a terrible demo. I'm going to take it for a second flight now. Okay, so what do I have on? These guys. Okay, so that went terribly. Let's take it down to the bottom of the hill again. Yee! I've been purposely trying to challenge myself by having obstacles in my way when I take off. I've done a couple test flights just taking the aircraft off and trying to turn it and getting to different angles and doing some landings and things like that. Alright, so again, I got to get over this mountain. And my goal is going to be to land it on the other side. I can't even see the button. I can't see the button. I'm in the stupid grass. Okay, I don't want to do any of that. I can't see. Alright, let's... This is just horrible right here. Oh my gosh. Oh god. Oh, guess what? Alright. Now I can actually get in this stupid thing. Alright, we're in. Let's see. Let's not screw up the thrusters this time. So if we need to tap it forward, we'll tap it forward. But for now, we'll go ahead and start the takeoff thrusters. Keep the landing gear up for now, or down for now, rather. Alright. Get some decent altitude here. Change my heading a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and start my mains. Isn't that big, otherwise I would keep it going. gear. I'm going to have to bring it down again in a minute anyways. And I'm going to try and reduce my altitude. Bring my gear down. I need to bring my nose up a little bit. And now we will try and land this puppy. Alright, well, sort of. Eh, well, I landed on a hill, so that kind of sucks. But oh well, this is test pattern Delta, and I'm gonna keep working on her. But this has been a lot of fun. You don't want to see what happened to test patterns Alpha through Charlie. They were a terrible disaster. This is the best I've done so far. All right, guys, thanks.